Hey everyone, this is KM Frequency, and this time we got the Galaxy S22 Ultra, an upgrade from the S21 Ultra of last year. The only question is, how much of an upgrade? Compared to last year, the S22 Ultra doesn't seem all that different, except for the shape and the added S Pen silo to make it more akin to the Note 20. However, even with the similarities to one Samsung or another, that doesn't stop the S22 Ultra from trying to distinguish itself in some other ways. I'll go into some specifics with the S22 Ultra and anything I noticed with my time using it, although the focus will be the most significant changes from the S21 to the S22. We got a few upgrades in the camera, some thoughts on the battery life, and the comeback of the S Pen. So let's take a look at some of those ways, big or small, to see if the upgrade from the S21 to the S22 was worth it. Don't forget to click the bell, like, and subscribe if you end up liking this video or any other content on the channel. With that out of the way, let's get into it. Looking at the Galaxy S22 Ultra, some people will find it highly familiar to the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. It has that box-like shape with sharp edges and a thicker body to hold that S Pen in place. I mean, take a quick look at both phones together. You almost can't tell the difference between the two until you look to the back, in which the differences become more noticeable. Instead of having that raised corner, the lenses are now protruding directly from the back, and surprisingly enough, I like this design better because of that cleaner look, but I did have a soft spot for the two-tone on the S21 Ultra. They come in a wide array of colors in black, burgundy, green, and white, including some Samsung website exclusive colors like graphite, sky blue, and red. The Samsung exclusive colors sell out often, but they often restock too, so you shouldn't have too much trouble getting them. For storage sizes, you have your typical 128GB to 1TB models, and the one weird difference on Samsung's part was a decision to make 12GB of RAM only available on the 256GB and up. The 128GB version only has 8, a significant difference from the Galaxy S21 Ultra, which had 12 across all storage sizes. So if you're upgrading from the S21 and opting for the 128GB version, it's going to feel like you're moving backwards. I don't see Samsung's plan here because the Pixel 6 Pro has 12GB of RAM at $899, so the price shouldn't be an issue. The only reasoning I can see is that they're trying to push it to the 256GB model. Samsung usually has some fantastic trade-in offers, so if you choose to upgrade, the hurt is alleviated a bit. If not, you're looking at $1,200 for the 256GB model, which is steep to buy outright. One of the ways they try to justify that premium is in the display. Samsung AMOLED displays have a hard time being knocked out of the #1 spot, making it even harder with each upgrade to the Galaxy S line. The 6.8-inch display on the Galaxy S22 Ultra is better than the S21, including the 120Hz refresh rate being transferred over as well. Now, are those differences night and day? I don't think so, but there is enough to notice some marked improvements, especially the screen brightness in direct sunlight. If you leave on adaptive brightness as soon as you enter the sunlight, the brightness will kick on to the max. The only difference is that with adaptive brightness off, you can take the high brightness one step further in an extra brightness mode, making it extremely easy to see the screen as if you didn't have it in direct sunlight at all. You should never have a problem seeing this phone in the daylight, including the display retaining its color and saturation amazingly well. I usually don't mention cameras in my reviews because I'm not a photography expert. I do have a fantastic photographer in my family, but it's not me. If you didn't know, I take all the footage of these videos with my phone, so cameras are essential here, and I'm learning, but not to the level where I can tell you how good they are. Some people have been asking about cameras in some of my other videos, so I thought I'll briefly review some of the improvements I noticed moving from the S21 Ultra to the S22. I saw some big ones when shooting my videos with them, and maybe you'll be able to apply it to your purchase decisions. Okay, now let's talk about these improvements. The immediate thing I noticed when shooting videos was autofocus. On the S21, a lot of the time things would be entirely out of focus when trying to get something centered. It was generally just slow to react. On the S22, the problem was pretty much eliminated for me. When trying to move an object in and out of a frame, the camera instantly picks up on it and focuses immediately. Video recording in general has some nice improvements. The telephoto lens appears to have some increased detail, resulting in a more precise and crisper image most of the time. The over-sharpening on any still photos and video has been reduced from previous Ultra devices, giving it a softer and more accurate look. Shutter lag still comes up when you use portrait mode or take some pictures in quick succession, so I don't think much changed on that front. Still, photo quality is fantastic here, and any other issues don't diminish it all that much. Anyone using the standard mode will be taking some great pictures. Individuals using the Pro mode can have their photography looking fantastic. Not much has changed when discussing Android and One UI on the S22 Ultra. You still have endless customization features and numerous buried settings, so you'll feel right at home if you ever had a Samsung device. Adding widgets and changing the look of the lock screen are all there. They made one addition by adding the ability to create smart widgets, which allows you to make stackable widgets that you can scroll through to save some space on the home screen and give it a cleaner look. There's also a bit more emphasis on Quick Share, an AirDrop equivalent for Samsung, in which you can transfer files across Samsung devices, like the Galaxy Tab S8 Plus. If that individual doesn't have a Samsung or an Android device, you can share it as a link in the form of a QR code. In addition, like with the Galaxy Tab, you can run Samsung DeX and connect it to an external monitor, controlling the whole thing with your finger or the S Pen. You get the whole desktop-like experience like you would with the Galaxy Tab. While Samsung DeX is running, you can use some functions of your phone like normal. No phone calls or anything. I had a couple crashes trying to make those calls, but text and browsing the internet is okay, as well as running YouTube and others. If you feel like connecting it to your PC as a mirror display, you can do that with Samsung Flow. Just install Samsung Flow on your PC and S22, follow the steps, and voila, mirror display. And if that screen is touchscreen, you can control your phone from there too, along with Smart View for use with any other wireless display. There are a few exceptions, but in most cases it works 99% of the time. There is a way to connect to an external display for pretty much anyone's situation or setup. The S Pen is back, neatly tucked in its silo and ready to click right out when you need to jot a quick note or want more precise control over your phone. Writing with it can feel a bit weird at first, but it's something you get used to, and the incredibly low input lag certainly helps with that. Honestly though, I don't use it to take notes as much as I thought I would. In the beginning, I would occasionally use it to make quick notes, but over time, I felt like it was easier to use my finger to type when I needed to get some thoughts out or just set up a simple shopping list. It could be because I'm so used to the Galaxy S20 and the 21 Ultra not having it that I feel like I don't need it, and I'm going to try to make it a goal to use it a bit more often. Nonetheless, the S Pen and all of its features such as unlocking your phone, using it as a shutter button for the camera, raising or lowering the volume, and playing and pausing music and videos are all here. The shutter button for the camera is the one I use the most. Before, I would have to use these third-party remotes that only work 25% of the time, but no longer. Even if you may not use it all that much, the S Pen is always there when you need it for that much added convenience. Also, just like with the S21 Ultra, the stylus attached to the S22 can be used for the Galaxy Tab, and the Galaxy Tab S Pen can also be used for the S22. So even if you lose one or the other, or don't feel like switching pens when moving between devices, you can feel safe using them on either one. You'll just have some mismatched sizes that may be tricky to write with. There's not much to say about the speed and overall performance of the Galaxy S22 Ultra. There hasn't been many variations in how phones perform nowadays from year to year. Across the S20 Ultra, the S21, and the S22, I have not seen much difference every time I upgraded. It's just as fast and smooth as it's always been. The only exception would be what I was talking about earlier in the review about the 128GB having only 8GB of RAM. It may not be able to keep as many apps in memory as the other storage sizes. In addition, it may not be able to run as many apps simultaneously when using DeX. The extra RAM makes a big difference, especially when we are discussing running Android as a mobile operating system. Apart from that, One UI runs as smoothly as it always has, allowing you to make as many changes as possible from everything to the lock screen and the home screen. For people who find maximum performance necessary, Snapdragon Gen 1 can run most everything you throw at it. Most graphic-intensive apps run well, and I haven't encountered too many issues from most apps out of the Google Play Store. Using the fingerprint reader to unlock the phone is fast and responsive, never waiting on a delay. The speed of the sensor improves with every iteration, but it never hurts to add that extra fingerprint for more accuracy. Generally, performance isn't something to worry about for those upgrading or picking up a Galaxy device for the first time. I'm going to be honest, the battery is the one area I was disappointed in. Battery performance being different is not what I imagined when I first upgraded, especially when both the S21 and the S22 had the same capacity at 5000 mAh. On my S21, I was averaging about 8 to 9 hours screen on time. On my S22, I got a screen on time of 5 to 6. This is a drastic difference from what I was getting on the previous model when, to be honest, the two phones aren't entirely different from one another. The only thing that changed was the addition of the S Pen and a brighter screen only when put to the max, which I rarely ever do unless I'm outside in direct sunlight, so I don't understand the significant difference in battery performance. The S22 Ultra does manage to get through a full day of battery when I'm doing general smartphone tasks like browsing the internet, texting, and making phone calls. All those tasks still only resulted in the 5 to 6, maybe 7 hours screen on time I was constantly getting. It's not terrible for a smartphone doing as much as the S22 does, but for what is supposed to be a lateral upgrade, the battery doesn't pass the test at all. You would think efficiency would increase going from one to the other, but not in this case. It's incredibly average and not what you would expect out of a 5000 mAh battery. Standby time is good at about 11 to 13 hours per day. I never felt like the battery was constantly draining as I left my phone for minutes or hours at a time. It would drop a few percentages, but not enough for me to feel like I may need to grab my charger later. But that's the standby time. Screen on time was my only issue for me coming from last year's S21. For those of you that are upgrading from the S21 Ultra to the S22, you may have something to think about before moving on to the next one if battery is a major concern for you. The Galaxy S22 Ultra is a great device that feels like it takes 2 steps forward, then 2 steps back. While the improvements may not be as massive to most, I believe the S22 Ultra is one of the top Android devices to get. While the camera enhancements and the note features coming back are great, being the 2 steps forward. For most people, those improvements might not be enough, and when you circle the discussion back to the battery, it just feels like it effectively takes that 1 step back, especially the 128GB only having 8GB of RAM, effectively making it another step back, essentially bringing it back to where it started, at the Galaxy S21 Ultra. I wouldn't blame anyone for feeling they should keep their current device and wait for the eventual S23. If you're looking to grab all those note features, thinking of jumping from the S21 Ultra, or if you may be looking to jump from iOS to Android, you'll still be getting one of Samsung's best smartphones to date. My opinion would be to try to grab that 256GB model if you can. For the ones making the jump from iPhone to Samsung, you're in for an amazing, fresh new experience. Anyone who is contemplating upgrading from the S21 Ultra, you're looking at more of the same, but just a little bit better. Emphasized a little. Honestly though, it feels like I pretty much got the same phone with a few pros and cons swapped for one another, which for me felt a bit underwhelming. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like, comment, and think about subscribing. I'll see you all in the next one.